Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Noah with another unscripted commentary, and today we have an anonymous question. So we'll just jump right into it. Favorite YouTubers or streamers, and has your taste in YouTube content changed since starting your own channel? There was a trend going around a little bit of a while ago, and the idea was to kind of pick out channels that were kind of on the smaller end and point them out to kind of spread the love. I'm ashamed to say that I don't watch a lot of smaller channels. I tend to stick to relatively bigger ones. Maybe they're not the biggest, but they are larger ones. And so forgive me for maybe saying things that are a little bit more on the obvious end. But maybe they're not obvious to you. So that's fair. I have a longer list here. I'm going to try to kind of maybe speed through or kind of pick out some specific ones. But at the top, I think Paul Vanderklay and Jonathan Peugeot have been these two channels, two guys that have vastly influenced the way I think about things, and having some thoughtful reflection on a variety of content, but trying to connect it into something bigger. This concept of religion not being its own subject, but being something that kind of impacts everything else. Like that was very much from them. So I'm very inspired by them, and I really like what they make. I jump in and out. I don't always watch everything, but I try to keep up to date on both of their things. I can't kind of talk about YouTube channels without mentioning Weekly Slap, which was a huge inspiration for me for this channel, or I guess the series specifically. Jay Schlatt, in making that channel, really inspired me in a lot of ways, both in the wisdom that he gave his audience in answering these questions, and also him taking on a kind of a style of video that he saw helped him try to hand it off to the next kind of generation or group. And so seeing that, I was inspired to kind of try to do the same and try to do something good that I've seen someone else do. So I'm thankful to him. I watch a lot of video essay type videos, so we can go through a couple of these. Jacob Geller is phenomenal. He's a fantastic writer who has made videos about everything from the death penalty to horror in video games and exploring different types of horror, to talking about the history of golems. Just a great all-around channel that I highly recommend. I don't think I've ever seen a video of his that I've been disappointed by. Nikki Jakey consistently makes very entertaining video essay style videos. He's been streaming a lot more lately. Interesting guy, and makes solid music, to be honest. Quinn's Quest does RPG reviews, and has gotten me to buy at least one RPG and run it with my friends. And if you have any interest in any of that and you haven't heard of his channel, I'd highly suggest it. Thomas Flight is a video essayist on movies. Reflecting on some themes, and not on specific movies usually, but on general ideas around movies. So he had a really good video recently about supporting actors, but sometimes he digs into a specific movie. Like, he introduced me to Perfect Days, which I think is probably one of my favorite movies I've ever seen. So I'm very thankful to him. Wendigoon does whatever he wants to. He makes a video whenever he's interested in something, and he'll deep dive into it and show his passion through it, and I appreciate those. Super Eyepatch Wolf, very into kind of anime and video game video essays, has a great one on fake video games. I suggest it. Like all these. Warlocracy has a very interesting style of making videos that are narrative reviews. So I highly suggest his series where he plays through Morrowind. and he has simultaneously like Morrowind RP and the history of the game or patches and these kind of things. So he does all these videos where he kind of ties together the experience of playing a game while role-playing in it, along with this fascinating history that comes along with it. And his, he's from Russia, and so he has all this Russian internet culture kind of embedded in his brain, and communicating that, it's extremely entertaining. One of my favorite channels. I guess we're kind of leaving this zone of video essays a little bit. Skill Up does video game reviews, solid stuff. He does a lot of video game news. Has been just kind of, an easy place to go if I want to learn more about what's going on in the industry and not, feeling like I have to keep up on everything. Red Letter Media makes a lot of content about movies, reviews, and kind of fun reflections on bad movies and things like that. Definitely got me thinking deeper about films and, what makes a good film and what makes a bad film. Got me interested in Roger Ebert and learning more about him. So I suggest it, like everything else here. Afriel Pilotson, good friend of mine. He makes solid videos. Actually, he doesn't make affiliate. He makes streams. He streams a lot, and he just kind of talks and chills, and it's a good time. And I like the vibe of his streams, and the chat's always fun to be around. I suggest if you ever see him online live, you should check his stuff out. And then we have a few kind of streamers that I think have been interesting to check out and watch. Dan Giesling of Big Brother reality show fame. He has a stream that's very wholesome. He goes kind of full on the wholesome train and tries to make something that is, positive and uplifting. And there's a certain resilience is kind of a loaded word, but he doesn't kind of stand down from a challenge. So he for a while was doing a playthrough of Elden Ring where he wasn't leveling vigor, so he had the minimum HP like that most people would have, right? Like probably the lowest HP you're gonna have, and he was playing through the DLC. And so there's just stuff like that where he did it. He's not like an amazing gamer by any means, but there's a certain level of just kind of nose to the grindstone, like I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna try my best and I'm not gonna let it get me down. And that's something I lack personally, and so that has been inspiring to me. Northern Lion is a guy who's is a streamer who's able to be extremely witty, both on video and live. Some of his stuff, rubs me the wrong way, but for the most part, he is, he's a guy that I aspire to be able to be in some ways, to be able to improvise and be on in that live stream way. I look to him as one of these inspirations. And then Atriok makes solid videos and streams. Has some good reflections on things he's interested in. So he does a lot of marketing talk and talks about kind of the trends in the market and things like that. And his community has been kind of wild to see from the outside, making, crazy good music and stuff. And, there's a certain amount that the person who you're centered around is influential on all of that. So it's hard. You can't divorce it from him either. Okay, I think I went through my list. Hopefully that wasn't too unbearable. But then we can get to the second question. How has my taste in YouTube content changed since starting my own channel? To be honest, it hasn't changed too much. But I can tell you what has changed. there is a certain amount of patience, base patience, that I think I used to have in some ways that's grown and shrunk in different ways. I know how hard it is to make a video and to put yourself out there. And so I am much less likely to press the dislike button, maybe would be one way. And I also can see kind of the struggles that people are going through and that. But in other ways, I don't watch those videos as much. I tend to try to find videos that impress me and kind of, blow my mind in other ways. And so I try to stick to videos that are going to, inspire me if I can. I still tend to get sucked down rabbit holes and stuff like that, but that is very much part of it. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what else has changed. Because it's been a while. I've been making videos for a good bit, and in a lot of ways, my videos are kind of the way that I talk to myself. Not the highly dressed up ones, but like these. Or whenever I'm kind of reacting to another video, I'm even on my own, like before I would make videos, I would kind of pause and talk to the screen and kind of play around with these ideas, especially when I was kind of frustrated. And I've been trying to find a way to channel the frustration in a reasonable sense. It's not, I don't think it's a secret like that's happened to me before, but like I don't know, I've had trouble channeling the frustration I have at certain kind of concepts or conversations in a productive way, and being able to communicate a good argument for why I feel the way I do, and for it not to be, just like, I don't like this. But that's a lot of what I've been thinking about around this topic. If you have a question yourself, feel free to go into the description and fill out a link to ask a question of your own. If you have any thoughts on this topic, feel free to leave a comment and say, what you think about any of these people that I mentioned, or if you have any specific, people that I might have missed that you think should get a recognition here. Thank you, anonymous viewer, for leaving that comment. I know I'm a month late, so please forgive me. And thank you, everyone else, for listening. Hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you all later. Bye-bye.